I already spoke about this on my birthday stream, but I think it's worth analyzing just a little bit more because it's very interesting. You see, this article titled Macho Men Are Ruining Science by Volunteering for Pain Studies to Show How Strong They Are was written in 2017. And usually when I talk about some news that is years ago, a lot of people don't find it relevant. But I think there's a lot of merit into looking back at what type of articles were written with the eyes of today. Because it says so much about the mainstream media. You see, back in 2017, feminismus was in vogue. And you had a lot of articles that just attacked men. Literally, for being men. That was the thing. That was what they were doing there. It was like, we live in a cisgender, heteronormative, heterosexual patriarchy, blah, 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 blah. And because of that, it was very popular to just talk about mansplaining, manspreading, hashtag yes all men, that type of garbage. And it shows here how the mainstream media was manipulating studies and how researchers themselves were publishing complete bogus articles for different reasons. The media wanted clickbait, and the researchers wanted grants, and they wanted fame. But like these interests would align, and they would give you articles like this. Macho men are ruining science. They are ruining Dr. Fauci, because I understand he and the science are one, by volunteering for pain studies to show how strong they are. So if you read the title, it sounds like there is a conspiracy among men. They are using macho men in order to infiltrate the science, which is very easily subverted by infiltration, I guess, and to create these bogus reviews. But as you're reading through the actual article, you figure out what's going on, and even a 5-year-old would understand it. If you find an article in the paper saying that a research professor is looking for subjects to run a pain tolerance experiment, who do you think is going to respond to that ad? Like, do you think your mother or your grandmother is going to volunteer in order to partake in an experiment about pain tolerance? Even other men, like, do you think I would be happy to go to an experiment that, I don't know, takes my testicles and uses a hammer to see how much I can tolerate? Obviously not, right? Like, obviously, the type of people that are going to go to such an experiment are what the article describes as macho men. It's like people who are used with pain are more likely to sign up for an experiment that deals with pain. Okay? It's not a conspiracy by men in order to infiltrate the science. And at the end of the day, you can't even blame the people doing it. It would be the people running the experiment that are at fault for not taking this into account. Because yes, obviously, if you're going to run an experiment that deals with pain, you're not going to have the 85-year-old grandmother show up for the experiment. Even though the science that's going to be coming out from that particular experiment might be applied to the 85-year-old grandmother as well. But that's not the point. The point is, again, like, the scientists should account for this. And it reminds me of a story back in the day where you had a feminist who posted a question on the internet in order to figure out if women receive harassment in video games. So she wanted to see how many women, she wanted to see whether it's a problem or not. And people on 4chan figured out about this, and they all pretended to be women and infiltrated her poll, saying that they don't get harassment. And she was very upset that people messed with her results. But my point was, it's like, I don't blame the people from 4chan for doing it. I blame her. That is not the correct way of running an experiment. You don't run an experiment online where anonymous people can post, several times. No, you're supposed to do it in real life. You're supposed to see the person in front of you, and it should give you some control of the experiment. But now that you know what happened, look at how the media describes this. So they use a lot of weasel words. Weasel words means that you can make something sound bad that isn't. Like, for example, everything we know about pain endurance may be wrong. Right? So the weasel word is maybe. In reality, it's probably not. But like, when you make a statement like this, it's not necessarily false, but it's designed to mislead the reader. It's like me saying you should show this video to a mother because it may be the best video your mother has ever seen in her life. The statement is not wrong. I mean, it's not a false statement that I just said, but it's misleading. And it's designed to try to persuade you to show this video to your mother. See how it goes? And then they say that this was published in the Journal of Pain, and it seems that gender roles have managed to mess up our scientific understanding of pain thresholds. In other words, look how evil men are, look how evil cisgender capitalism is, because the gender roles are destroying the science. This is a fear-mongering article. And then you go on and you say, according to the study, hyper-masculine men with extreme competitive and aggressive personality traits are more likely to sign up to take part in scientific research on pain. I mean, in contrast to what? I mean, are we really shocked that cowardly men who prefer to stay at the safety of their mother's basement and don't like getting a boo-boo aren't rushing in to sign up for these pain studies? But it's even implied that, like, for some reason, this prevents women from going. Like, I don't see why a woman can't go to a pain study if she wants to. Again, these are open for the public. Everyone can go. But, like, the problem with the media is that they are shaming the very few people that are going. Like, let's be honest. Most people don't want to go to a pain study. Now, if it was a pleasure study, I'm pretty sure there would be a queue. But when it comes to pain, like, most people don't enjoy it. And it's for a biological reason. We are designed that way to survive. I mean, the reason that pain is important for our survival is exactly so that people do not desire it. But the way that they're talking in this article is that men are evil. They're conspiring to overthrow science. So look at this. If the scientist conducting the research is a woman, the results could be. So look at another weasel words. Could be. Like, they haven't proved that this is the case. And honestly, as a person who went to med school and I had a lot of female teachers and female doctors there, I can tell you that when you see a woman in a lab coat who hasn't been sleeping for the last 20 hours and she's grouchy, you're not going to look at her like a woman. You're going to look at her like a doctor. Like, it's one of those rare cases where the profession transcends the gender. It's kind of like looking at Angela Merkel. Like, you don't look at her like a woman or a grandmother. No, you look at her like the previous leader of Germany. Because there are cases where the profession transcends the gender of the individual. So, this is a bullshit study as well. Again, this is a hypothesis, if anything. I mean, they haven't proven it. They haven't done the experiment, because I looked at the studies. It's just like they're asserting things. They're asserting things that just sound plausible. I mean, okay, yeah, it's plausible that macho men would try to impress a woman with their pain tolerance. But again, you would have, like, the sexiest ushikushi doctor available that's got, like, a pretty face and makeup and a pretty body, and the man who goes there to impress looks like this. I mean, okay, fine, I can see. But, like, you have to prove it. You can't just make the statement. It could be like a 50-year-old guy that's already married and has 5 kids and doesn't want another woman. And you can have, like, the most ushikushi doctor ever, and he's not going to be influenced by that. But anyway, so for the study, look at this. The team had 137 student volunteers. 137. 137 students is not even remotely enough to make a study about pain tolerance. Like, you have the sample size way too small. Like, if anything, this is not even a study. It's probably just like a paper that a university student writes for his professor to show that he knows how to actually do some research. But it's not... And if you're saying that this was being posted in the Journal of Pain, then I'm sorry to say, but, like, the Journal of Pain should lose a lot of prestige because they're publishing bullshit like this. 137 student volunteers. And they're making a study which is now posted in the newspaper, and it's used to create the illusion that men are conspiring to subvert science. And this is part of the narrative that men are very evil, they're destroying our society, so we need feminismus, we need terms of service in the internet, we need to thought police, We need to make sure that we're more inclusive by excluding the people who disagree with us. So on and so on and so on. And this was in 2017. Now, feminismus is not in vogue as it used to be, but it's interesting to read these articles just to see how every bad thing, even things that you didn't know about, were caused by evil, evil macho men. Let me know what you guys think, and don't forget to check it out This Week is Stupid. It's going to be a special edition. Sargar Ovakad is going to return, so don't forget to look into that. It's probably going to be in 1 or 2 hours from me releasing this video. And I'll see you guys there. Take care.